we making this way more complicated than it has to be. Older men date younger women because well, these older men that can date younger women date younger women because they got access to them. It's that simple. They can date younger women because what younger women want to date them. I mean, I would love to hear her opinion when it comes to the 20-some-year-old or the person that's her age that she chooses to pass over because he doesn't have the things that she's passing him over for an older man for. Because let's say for the sake of argument, she's talking about the guy that been ran through. A lot of the older men that I see date younger women aren't ran through. They've been married before. They've had their children. They've done all of those things, and then they come out of they come out of marriage or they get divorced, and then they go on and date younger, or they get back on the dating market, and they still more desirable than a lot of younger dudes. I ain't in that age group yet, but I can also see that I notice a lot of young dudes that come sit in my chair and they tell me, shoot, the women checking for the older guys. The who they be talking about, the silver foxes and all of this, and they dress well and they like them and all of that. It's that simple. They date them because they got access to them. It ain't got nothing to do with them trying to relive their younger days. If they wanted to relive their younger days, they go buy a motorcycle. They go do some of that shit. But having access to women, men date across the spectrum. If you're a beautiful woman, he gonna date you.
I go ahead, Marcus White.
First off, shout out to her. I appreciate everything she said and the way she said it, because what she did was explain that younger sometimes don't mean less difficult. When somebody show you that that's how they want to talk, act, and behave, you need to be thankful that they showing that to you so you can avoid the hell out of that. So you don't end up with somebody like that. And you like, she was young. I thought she was going to be. No. People could be difficult at any age. And to me, that came off as difficult and mildly abrasive, you know. But I will say at 21, as a father, when I would not allow my daughter to date me at 21 versus me at 31. I'm two different people. You know what I'm saying? I was reckless. And when she talk about like men can't get ran through, so I don't know where she get that from. But ain't nobody running in us. We run in. So that don't even make no sense. But the recklessness, the invincibility, like, bro, I didn't believe I could die damn near how I was moving and didn't really care if it happened. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't want to entrust my daughter into the hands of somebody that thought like that at that age, you know. But at 31, I'm more calculated. I see the play. I see how things gonna plan out. I think before I react. I try and move in a space to make things move the way I want them to. I got a plan. You know what I'm saying? At 21, no, only thing you was gonna do is catch me, you know what I'm saying, breaking your heart multiple times over and over and over again, and probably jading you so you turn into somebody sounding like that young lady. I would much rather prefer my daughter to date me at 31 than me at 21. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. Do I think that older men are dating to relive their youth? I don't think it's as much reliving their youth, but it's as all the guys said. It's different things that come with age. We age differently and we age in different ways. And malleability is not something you particularly want in a man who's supposed to be setting his purpose, but it is something that in a woman that you want, because the beauty of women is they have the ability to like, people be sometimes mad like women are wishy-washy. I want a woman who I don't feel like goes this way and that way for da. The thing is, women mold to who they're with. That is the feature. It's not a flaw. And usually the less experience and the less heartbreak they've had, the easier it is for that to mold into you, especially when you're serious and you're dating with the intent of actually making a family and doing something. So yeah, I think she's wrong, but I appreciate her take, and I hope anybody who think like her is very vocal about it.
Y'all know what trips me out. We always like. Never mind. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Sway.
we so oftentimes we hear people have these conversations where they talk about, oh well, now mind you, you mostly hear this from women. They talk about how, oh, I have to deal with somebody that's on my level of better because we may have better conversations and things like that. And in my little 34 years on this planet, especially in my adult years, most of the people I've ever been around, most of the people I've ever seen, even when you're college educated, even when you An older man, we all still have some of the same bullshit conversations. So when you say, oh, a 30 or 40-year-old can't identify with a 24-year-old, we still have the same conversations at 35, 40 that we have at, 24, 25. Just like somebody in the chat was just talking about how he was dating a 21-year-old, and they have great conversation. They still have the same, because we really don't change that much. We all still bullshit. I've been on panels where all of us were college educated and we still talking the same shit. So are we really that much different from our 25-year-old selves than we are 40? Especially when we're talking about talking to the opposite sex. A lot of us don't even like to talk that much. I'm sure all of y'all wives talk more than y'all do. I'm sure most of us sit quiet and we listen more than we actually talk.
With women, yeah, for sure. Because with women for sure.
So when they say, "Oh, you need somebody that's on your level that can talk to you and have these conversations," no, I don't. She gonna do a whole lot of talking. I'm gonna do a whole lot of fucking.
What?
Okay, swing. Go ahead, Trey.
The only thing I say with that is that women do. There's certain experiences that we've had, right? Like you're gonna get your game up as far as like what restaurants to go to better than a 20-year-old, right? You'll have more experience, you'll have more wisdom, you'll have more financial experience. Because I can say in my 20s, I was all right, but definitely know so much more, right? Like when I bought my house, I wish I was 10 years older, right? Because there were so many things that I didn't know, so much information that I didn't have. I feel like I've done a lot of development from then till now. I feel like I'm a much better man from then till now. I feel like I could, if I wanted to. I can't right now, but if, you know what I mean? If I was just out there, I would be able to accomplish so much more as far as females are concerned. My range would be a lot greater, right? Because I'd be able to know how to approach any type of females. I know how to read females more, right? Like I was good at that point, but you never understand. You always think you're really good, but once you get older, you realize, damn, I ain't know nothing when I was 21. We all had that invincibility stage when we was like 20. We thought we knew it all, but then we got to 30. We realized we didn't know that much at all. Then we got to 40. The older you get, to realize how much you realize you don't know, right? And I feel like us as men, I think every single one of us could say this, that we've developed a lot since we were 20, like just so much information that we've taken in. We've read so many more books. We've traveled to so many more places, had so many different experiences. We've had children that have changed our experiences, right? We look at females differently after we have children, especially if we have daughters, right? So there's a lot of development and maturity that happens to us as humans as we age and experience things. And fun fact, before we go on, fun fact, they've surveyed men from 18 to like 70, and no matter what age you were, you all desire women from 18 to 25. So that is what that is.
Interesting study.
Yeah, I think the ideal age is like 23 to 25 if you was a single man. And I mean, for a single woman to try and like, that's probably the ideal age. And for the man, like 29 to 35, those two make like the best, you know what I'm saying? You cross that threshold of adolescence and probably thinking with your child brain as a man past like 25, and then you've had time to sit in and gain some experience with the new mindset. And as a woman, you're not really past that point. Now there are exceptions to that rule. There's some people who, you know what I mean, they thought of one way at 21, then think another way at 30, and then they possibly are better at 30. But for the most part, it's the other way around.
I mean, for a man at 40, I don't know if I would want a woman in her 20s. I don't. I just couldn't see myself. I think the youngest I would go, and I'm 48, like I said, it's maybe 30, 35, something around that range. Man, the 20s, man, god damn. Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna sit there.
I would also say that there's one factor there's another factor that a lot of people don't take into account is, are we talking about like, because there's like, for what Marcus said about 23 to 25 being the ideal age, that's if a man hasn't already had children yet. A lot of men that haven't had children will desire a woman that's around that age group, and especially if they weren't married, if they've never been married before. So they do tend to go after younger women at that point. But a lot of men that have already had children, if not also have already been married, they do tend to go after women that are around their age, if not, you know what I mean, just only a few years younger than them. You know what I mean? So it does also depend on that as well. Like, what kind of rich man are you talking about? The type of man that she's talking about, she said you've been ran through, you ain't. That means this man ain't never been married. He ain't never, you know what I mean? He don't have no kids. All he's been doing is smashing women for the past 20 years. And now he wants to settle down. Yeah, and he's gonna probably get a 25-year-old to settle down if he did his shit right. But we're not talking about bums. We don't talk about bums here. We talk about men that know how to get shit done. So if he a man that know how to get shit done, he's gonna get a 25-year-old because he has access to him.